The notification lit up Olivia's phone at 8:43 p.m. "Don't wait up, I'm with Craig." 6 words that would change everything. As she stared at her husband Michael's message, a cold feeling spread through her chest. 3 months of late nights, secretive phone calls, and growing distance crystallized into this moment. She thought she knew what was happening, the same story that had broken countless marriages before hers. But what Michael was actually doing with Craig that night would turn her world upside down in ways she never imagined. If you've ever felt that sinking feeling when trust begins to crack, or wondered if someone you love is slipping away, this story might just give you hope when you need it most. Stay with me until the end, I promise it's worth it. And if this story touches your heart, consider supporting our channel with a like and subscribe for more stories that remind us life isn't always what it seems. Olivia and Michael Turner had been married for 12 years. They'd weathered the early financial struggles of their 20s, celebrated promotions and achievements, and supported each other through the heartbreak of 2 miscarriages. Their home in the suburbs of Portland was everything they'd worked for, the kind of place where they'd imagined raising a family, hosting Christmas dinners, growing old together on the front porch swing. But the past year had brought changes. Michael's startup software company had finally gained traction after 5 years of 70-hour workweeks and reinvested earnings. Success had arrived almost overnight when a major tech company expressed interest in their security platform. Suddenly, their careful budget gave way to comfortable abundance. Michael could afford the watch he'd always wanted, they replaced Olivia's 10-year-old sedan, and they even splurged on a vacation to Italy, something they'd dreamed about since their honeymoon. Olivia should have been ecstatic. Instead, she found herself increasingly alone. Michael was working later than ever, despite the company's success supposedly easing their financial pressure. He took calls in the other room, lowering his voice when she walked by. His energy for their relationship seemed to evaporate. When she'd suggest a weekend trip or even just dinner at their favorite restaurant, he'd check his phone and make excuses about meetings and deadlines. Just a few more months, he'd promise, kissing her forehead in that distracted way that made her feel more like his sister than his wife. "Once we close this deal, things will calm down." Craig Wilson had entered their lives 3 months ago. Michael's new business advisor was everything Michael wasn't: loud, flashy, with an easy confidence that filled any room he entered. Olivia had met him exactly twice, once at a company party where he'd spent more time on his phone than conversing with anyone, and again when he'd stopped by their house unexpectedly on a Saturday to pick up Michael for what her husband called an emergency client situation. Now, staring at the text message, Olivia felt something break inside her. She'd been patient. She'd been understanding. She'd given Michael space to build his dream. But these secretive nights with Craig, the emotional distance, the hollow kiss on her cheek as he headed out the door earlier that evening, it felt like too much. She'd never been the jealous type. She trusted Michael completely. Or at least, she had. But people changed, didn't they? Success changed people. Money changed relationships. Perhaps she'd been naive to think they were immune. Olivia poured herself a glass of wine and curled up on the couch, phone clutched in her hand. Her thumb hovered over Michael's message. She could respond casually, "No problem, have fun." She could confront him, "Where are you really? I deserve the truth." She could say nothing at all. In the end, she set the phone down without responding. Whatever was happening, a text message wasn't going to fix it. Tomorrow, she decided. Tomorrow she would demand answers. Sleep evaded her that night. She tossed in their queen-sized bed, the empty space beside her feeling wider than ever. By morning, exhaustion had hardened into resolve. She showered, dressed in her favorite blue dress, the one Michael had always said brought out her eyes, and prepared to face whatever truth awaited her when her husband returned. But Michael didn't come home that night. Or the next morning. At 10:23 a.m., her phone rang, not Michael, but his assistant Jennifer. "Olivia? Is Michael with you?" He missed the investor meeting this morning, and he's not answering his phone. The cold feeling returned, spreading from Olivia's chest to her fingertips. No, he's with Craig. At least that's what he told me last night. A pause. Craig? Craig Wilson? Yes. His business advisor. Another pause, longer this time. Olivia, Craig Wilson isn't a business advisor. He's a real estate agent. And he's been helping Michael with something. But I probably shouldn't say more. The world tilted slightly. Jennifer, please. What's going on? I need to know. She could hear Jennifer's hesitation through the phone. It's not my place, but... Michael's been meeting with Craig about properties. Houses, mostly. In the Lake Oswego area. Expensive ones. Lake Oswego. The upscale neighborhood Michael knew Olivia loved. They'd driven through it countless times over the years, admiring the beautiful homes with their lake views and carefully landscaped gardens. It was a dream neighborhood, one they'd agreed was out of reach even with the company's recent success. Thank you, Jennifer, Olivia said quietly, ending the call before the questions overwhelming her mind could spill out. A real estate agent. Not an affair, but secrets nonetheless. Properties in Lake Oswego. Was Michael planning to move them without telling her? Was he making investment purchases? Or was there something else, something worse, like preparing a separate life without her? She tried calling Michael again. Straight to voicemail. She texted, "Please call me. I'm worried." Nothing. By evening, worry had transformed into a gnawing fear. She called Michael's parents, his brother, even a couple of his college friends. No one had heard from him. She considered calling the police, but what would she say? My husband is voluntarily spending time with a real estate agent? It was nearing midnight when she heard a key in the lock. She jumped up from the couch where she'd been pretending to read the same page of a book for the past hour. Michael looked exhausted. His normally clean-shaven face showed stubble, and dark circles shadowed his eyes. But there was something else there too, a nervous energy, a tightly wound excitement he seemed to be struggling to contain. "Where have you been?" The words burst from Olivia before she could temper them. "I've been worried sick." Michael set down his laptop bag and ran a hand through his hair. "I'm sorry, Liv. My phone died, and everything has been so chaotic. I should have found a way to call." Chaotic? "Michael, you've been gone for over 24 hours. Jennifer called looking for you. You missed your investor meeting. And all I got was a text telling me not to wait up because you were with Craig. Craig the real estate agent, apparently, not Craig the business advisor." Michael's face fell. "Jennifer told you about Craig?" "She told me enough. Are you going to tell me the rest? Are we moving? Are you investing in property? Or is it something else?" The final question hung between them, unspoken but clear. "Are you leaving me?" Michael took a deep breath. Then, to Olivia's surprise, a smile broke across his face, the first genuine smile she'd seen from him in months. "I wanted it to be a surprise. The perfect surprise. But I've made a mess of it, haven't I?" He stepped toward her, taking her hands in his. "Liv, we closed the deal. The acquisition went through yesterday. The company is sold, and we did well. Really well." Olivia blinked, processing his words. "The deal went through? That's wonderful, Michael. But why all the secrecy? Why the late nights with a real estate agent?" "Because I wanted to give you everything you've ever dreamed of." He pulled his phone from his pocket, pulled up a photo, and handed it to her. On the screen was a gorgeous house, Victorian style, painted a soft blue with white trim, set back from the street with magnificent old oak trees in the front yard. It overlooked the lake, with a private dock extending into the clear water. It's the Sullivan house, Michael said softly. The one you fell in love with when we drove through Lake Oswego 3 years ago. Remember? You said it looked like something from a fairy tale. Olivia's breath caught. She remembered. The Sullivan house had been for sale back then, far outside their price range. They'd slowed the car to admire it, and she'd commented on how perfect it was, with its wraparound porch and the window seats she could imagine curling up in with a book on rainy days. It came on the market again last month, Michael continued. Craig is a friend of my brother's. He specializes in Lake Oswego properties and called me immediately. I've been working with him in secret, negotiating the purchase, arranging the financing, handling the inspections. Last night was the final walkthrough. This morning, we closed. It's ours, Liv. If you want it. Tears welled in Olivia's eyes. Not tears of relief or even happiness, but something more complex, a mixture of emotions she couldn't quite name. You bought a house without telling me, she whispered. Michael's smile faltered. I wanted to surprise you. To thank you for all the sacrifices you've made while I built the company. For believing in me when no one else did. But it's not just your decision to make, Michael. A house is something we should choose together. A life we should build together. The tears spilled over now, tracking down her cheeks. Do you have any idea what I've been thinking these past months? How alone I've felt. I thought I was losing you. Realization dawned on Michael's face, followed quickly by horror. You thought. Olivia, no. Never. There's no one but you. There never has been. Then why shut me out? Why all the secrecy and late nights and whispered phone calls? Michael sank onto the couch, his energy seeming to drain away. I wanted to give you the perfect life. The dream house, financial security, everything we've worked for. I thought if I could just push through these last few months, get everything in place, it would all be worth it. But I never needed the perfect life, Michael. I just needed you. Present. Here. With me. Olivia sat beside him, close but not touching. A dream house means nothing if we're not happy in it together. They talked through the night, really talked, in a way they hadn't for months. Michael explained how the pressure to provide, to make their struggles worth it, had consumed him. How the possibility of giving Olivia the house she'd once admired had become an obsession, a concrete way to show his love and appreciation. He admitted he'd handled it all wrong, keeping her in the dark while making decisions that affected both their lives. Olivia shared her fears, the loneliness of recent months, the growing conviction that success had changed Michael into someone who no longer needed or wanted her partnership. She told him about the dread she'd felt seeing his text message, the sleepless night imagining worst-case scenarios. As dawn broke over their small suburban home, they reached a new understanding. The Lake Oswego house would be theirs if they wanted it, but the decision would be made together, after Olivia had seen it and they discussed what it would mean for their future. Michael promised transparency, not just about houses and money but about all aspects of their life together. 2 weeks later, they stood on the porch of the Sullivan house, their house now, watching movers carry in the furniture they'd chosen together. The past 14 days had brought more honest conversations, some painful, all necessary. They'd toured the house multiple times, discussed renovations, planned where their existing belongings would go and what new pieces they might add over time. Are you happy? Michael asked, his arm around Olivia's waist as they watched the last of the moving trucks pull away. Olivia leaned into him, feeling the solid warmth of his body against hers. With the house? It's beautiful. More than I ever imagined we could have. She turned to face him, looking into the eyes that had first captured her heart 15 years earlier. But what makes me happy is that we're here together. That we're partners again. Michael kissed her then, not the distracted peck of recent months but a kiss full of presence and promise. I almost lost sight of what matters, he said quietly. It was never about the house or the money or the business. It's this, us, that makes everything worthwhile. As evening fell, they sat together on their new porch swing, watching stars appear over the lake. Olivia's phone buzzed with a text from her sister, asking how the move had gone. As she typed a reply, she glanced at Michael. "I should text Craig to thank him for all his help," Michael said, pulling out his phone. Olivia laughed softly. "Just don't tell him not to wait up." Michael smiled, tucking his phone away and pulling her closer instead. "The only person I'm with tonight, and every night, is you. Sometimes life takes unexpected turns. Sometimes the moves we never see coming aren't betrayals but misguided attempts at love." Olivia and Michael learned that success means nothing without shared joy, that surprises are beautiful only when they bring people together rather than pushing them apart. Their story reminds us that communication builds bridges while silence builds walls, and that true partnership requires presence more than presence. As the stars reflected on the lake before them, they understood they'd been given not just a new home but a second chance to build their life together, with eyes wide open and hearts fully engaged.